So Donald Trump today has tweeted out that soon people are going to start calling him Mr. Brexit. Now, speculation online was rife as to what on earth he might mean by this, and the comments eventually landed on the fact that what he was trying to infer was just as the Brexit campaign had been behind in the polls and had actually prevailed in June, so the same is going to be said for his campaign, that even though he's behind in the polls now, he's going to win an historic victory and cause an upset in November. But that just doesn't make sense. The parallel is not accurate, because the reality is that the Brexit campaign and the Remain campaign were much, much closer for basically the entire campaign process, whereas Mr. Trump is considerably much further behind Hillary Clinton. And even if it were a thing, even if being Mr. Brexit was a thing, which it isn't, by the way, but even if it were a thing, it's not a very good thing. Look at what's happened to the UK since that disastrous decision to leave the EU. There's been political upheaval, the economy's gone into complete chaos, the pound's at an all-time low, the rest of the European economies are in free fall. There's wild speculation as to how they even implement Brexit. Nobody knows what it's going to entail, unraveling 40 years worth of contracts. Forgetting the fact, or not even forgetting the fact, that Nigel Farage, who was the leader of UKIP, and Boris Johnson, who were key architects in the whole Brexit campaign, both resigned. Remembering also the fact that there was a series of broken promises that the Brexit campaign made, that they then said, well, on the day after the Brexit decision was made, oh no, well, we didn't really mean that, and we can't actually follow through on that promise. Is that really what you want to be associated with? Broken promises? And let's also remember the buyer's remorse that people had, the leaver's remorse that people had, again in the aftermath. Oh, I didn't realize that was going to happen, and everybody was taking that as a cue to be, do not take that as a lesson, do not make the same mistake with Donald Trump that you made with Brexit. So maybe he's right. Maybe there is some kind of a parallel, but I certainly don't think it's in the parallel that he was inferring, the parallel that he was meaning. And also, let's remind ourselves that he hasn't got a clue what Brexit actually means. Back in June, he said, oh, don't ask me about Brexit, I have no clue, I don't know, I haven't spent long enough looking at it. Then, after the Brexit vote, he happened to be on tour in Scotland, and he said, oh, this is a great decision, Brexit is a great decision for the people of Scotland, and it's about taking back control. Well, two things are wrong with that, Donald. The first thing is that Scotland voted overwhelmingly to remain. And secondly, nothing to do with taking back control. Control was never lost. What it is about the extent to which you can actually dictate your own immigration policy. But the reality is, and the sad truth of the matter is, if you want to have access to the single market, access to the single European Union market, then you have to take on board their quotas as regards to immigration. So it's a complete false narrative that's being developed. So the whole concept of being associated with Mr. Brexit is nonsense. It doesn't ring true, and it doesn't have any logic to it. Unless, of course, what you mean by Mr. Brexit is having chaos, having economic disparity, and throwing the political system into complete upheaval, and having the aftermath of that being complete instability and uncertainty.